I may regret this choice, but here's something I otherwise wouldn't really read. It's called I Wish I Didn't Hear That by TheCamel. This chapter's called Keeping Ponies Awake. Oh, Celestia's sake, not again! Apple Bloom groaned and shoved her pillow over her head, but she knew it was a lost cause. The subtle but distinct sound of the door to the next room opening and then closing signalled that she was in for yet another night of disrupted sleep. I'm pretty sure that should be interrupted. Or should it not be? Meh. But it wasn't due to the noise level of what was going on next door that bothered Apple Bloom. It was the ponies responsible for the noise and what they were doing. Oh gosh darn it, this is the 4th time this week! Apple Bloom grimaced as she pulled the pillow tighter against her ears. She could still barely make out the muffled hoofsteps of Big Macintosh crossing the hardwood floor, which was soon followed by the soft murmur of conversation between him and Applejack. She was sometimes unable to hear what exactly they talked about, though she had little desire to ever find out, especially with what was due to follow shortly. Oh dear. Sudden regrets arise. Roughly 10 minutes passed before the conversation died down. A few creaks of wood being put underneath. A few creaks of wood being put under strain followed shortly after. Then began the noise Apple Bloom dreaded most of all. Oh god, no. Thump. 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 With her pillow still covering her ears, Apple Bloom gave a forlorn glance at the far wall across from the room. She had contemplated moving her bed against the wall to escape what was going on in Applejack's room, but Granny Smith's snoring was completely unbearable and continued through the entire night. I know the feeling. But left her no choice but to place her bed against the wall that split her and her older sister's room, the same wall that AJ had her bed next to. At least, with what was going on in Applejack's room lasted an hour or two, at the very most each night. But it was still horrifying to think about. Especially once. Oh god, why? Big Mac, a little harder. Applejack's muffled voice sounded through the wall. Seconds later, the dull thump of wood against the the dull thump of wood against the wood increased in volume. Oh god, no. I need an adult. Oh god. Well, the first thing I'm doing is making a letter titled as Dear Therapist after I read this. Apple Bloom banged her head against the mattress a few times in frustration as she once again struggled to grasp what the hay was going on just on the other side of that wall. The first night she heard the commotion, she almost cried out in shock once she realised what her own two siblings were doing. Yet almost every night since then, the same scenario would play out, forcing the image of Big Mac and Applejack. The image of Big Mac and Applejack together in bed, doing. Oh god. Doing the do. Is this where the Batman theme comes in? Also, how old is Apple Bloom anyway? I'm pretty sure she's kind of too young to notice his. So I'm wondering what the hell is going on here. You know, apart from a bunch of mental scarring and an excuse to drink loads of bleach. Oh no! Apple Bloom's mind screamed as the taboo thought once again dominated her mind. They really can't be. I mean, they're brother and sister. They're my brother and sister. Yet despite her denial, the sound next door led to only one conclusion. The dull thumping noise accompanied by the occasional disturbing noise coming from one of the two ponies. Slower, Mac. Don't be too rough. Yup. Oh, God. Even in sex, you're neutral. Ugh. Apple Bloom's face turned red as her mind pictured about 10 different scenarios that could possibly accompany what she was heard. What? Oh, what she just heard. Oh, I'm thick. She remained unable to comprehend how her family could be so normal during the day, but once the sun set, this shocking late-night rendezvous could be taking place. They acted completely normal during the day, and out in public so well, it didn't seem like any pony else had any suspicions of Big Mac and Applejack's relationship together. Not even Granny Smith. Way. Of course, there was no way she could talk to any pony about this, not even her two best friends. But the dark secret was beginning to take its toll on her mental state. She found herself having trouble paying attention in school, not to mention she couldn't hold any sort of conversation with her two siblings, or even look them in the eyes. Any pony willing to offer her advice, or even just listen to her concerns, would be a welcome relief to Apple Bloom. But for now, it seemed she was meant to suffer alone. Oh, slow down, partner. Ain't quite finished yet. An out-of-breath Applejack said from the next room over. Why am I reading this? I am so unsettled. The young filly groaned in frustration as she tried her best to erase what she had just heard from memory. Ugh. Applejack, the most caring and loyal mare she knew in all of Equestria, and Big Mac, her brave, bold, strong big brother, right next door, together, late at night, doing... with each other. Oh, Discord, kill me now. Yeah, and me too while you're at it. I'll take seconds on that. A few more relatively quiet moments passed before Apple Bloom heard something that almost stopped her heart. Dang it, Big Mac! I told you not to get that inside. Applejack hissed. Oh, no. Oh, better not be what I think it is. Applejack hissed just loudly enough for Apple Bloom to hear clearly. A rather disturbing mental image dominated Apple Bloom's mind, quickly followed by an image of the Apple family growing in size roughly 9 months from now. She couldn't help but let out a cry of shock and jolt upright in her own bed, one or both actions being just loud enough to cause all noise in Big Mac's room to abruptly cease. All three ponies on both sides of the relatively thin wood wall held their breaths for a few tense moments before Applejack spoke up. You think she heard us just now? AJ whispered. Apple Bloom quickly laid back down and shut her eyes as she heard some pony next door walking slowly across the room and back out into the hallway before stepping in front of her own room. After a brief pause, she heard her bedroom door creak open and followed by the deep, whispering voice of her brother. You all awake? Big Mac asked. After receiving no answer, he asked the question again, but upon receiving no further answer a second time, he shut the door and returned to his sister's room. I told you it would be too risky doing this in my room. Applejack hissed at her brother once he was back. No other safe place to. No other safe place to. Big Mac replied. Oh, I think my brain's vomited. A short pause followed. Well, I suppose I should get this mess out and cleaned up, AJ sighed. Y'all should get back to your room before we really do wake Apple Bloom. Night, Mac. Without further delay, Big Mac returned to his own room. Some shuffling noises could be heard before Applejack finally retired for the night, leaving Apple Bloom alone in shock at what she'd just heard. Did they really just... Did I really hear him? He really... Inside? She thought in horror. A newborn foal being born to a pair of siblings would surely be one of the biggest scandals to hit Ponyville ever, and there was no way Apple Bloom would be able to survive that embarrassment. She loved her family more than anything else in all of Equestria, but something of his magnitude would surely leave her no choice but to move as far away as possible. Not to mention Sweet Apple Acres would surely be shut down and a family name tarnished for generations to come. Still, Apple Bloom had absolutely no clue how to prevent such a catastrophe. Oh, bloody hell, I can't even talk. Such a catastrophe, or stop her siblings from seeing each other at night. But action had to be taken. I'll talk to him in the morning, she eventually decided before drifting to sleep. Ugh, Jesus Christ, man, why am I doing this? The sun was already rising into the sky by the time Apple Bloom climbed out of bed and made her way downstairs. Granny Smith had just finished preparing breakfast, while Applejack completed setting plates out. Big Mac also entered the room, having completed his early morning chores. The morning meal went normal as usual, but Apple Bloom did notice one odd look between Applejack and Big Mac right before cleanup began. "Hey Big Mac, I need y'all to help me out for a sec in the barn." Oh no. It just said once she had finished putting away the last dish. Big Macintosh nodded, but Apple Bloom spoke up as well. "I can help too," she offered. "No, I mean," Applejack said a bit too quickly, grasping for an excuse. "'Tain't nothing interesting, just discussing crop numbers and such." "Okay," Apple Bloom replied doubtfully. Without further delay, the two older siblings departed for the barn. Once Granny Smith had left the kitchen, Apple Bloom carefully slipped outside and followed AJ in Big Mac's path. But upon reaching the barn, found all doors shut and locked. She tried eavesdropping from outside, but could barely make out any sound. If she wanted to know what they were discussing during their secret meeting, she would have to find another way inside. How am I gonna... Can't get through the windows. Oh, maybe if I... She thought triumphantly as she found the perfect secret entrance. A small makeshift escape hatch Big Mac had crafted for any creature trapped inside the barn in case of emergency. It was in the stall farthest from any other door, making it the perfect location for Apple Bloom to slip inside unnoticed. As expected, the hidden door swung open with ease, and young Apple Bloom sibling slipped into the barn unnoticed. Oh, God. Carefully peeking around the small stall entrance, Apple Bloom found her eldest siblings in the middle of the barn speaking in a hushed tone. Just out of earshot, she concealed herself in a pile of hay and smiled as she finally heard the conversation. "Too far to stop now." "Yup. Ain't no other place to do it safely. Granny Smith or Apple Bloom might catch us or find evidence if we do it anywhere else. And your room's just too messy." "Yup. But Apple Bloom may..." "Oh, don't you worry none about her. We'll just have to be quiet next time. Y'all still want to try again tonight?" "Yup. Just remember to be careful. We ain't got any more protection." "Oh, fuck's sake. So no more slip-ups like last night, you hear?" Yup. Apple Bloom's face burned red at the last four sentences. Luckily for her, the conversation ended and the older siblings left their barn to head out into the fields. Once they were gone, Apple Bloom finally emerged from her hiding place and began pacing back and forth in near panic. I can't believe they're still going and keeping at it, with no protection." She made almost a dozen rounds inside the barn before she finally made up her mind. "I have to do something. I can't let them destroy their lives. I gotta help them." Finally exiting the barn herself, Apple Bloom gazed out at the farm she had called home and nodded in resolve. "Ain't nothing stronger than family," she reaffirmed before rushing off to gather what she needed. Not wanting to chance being interrupted by any pony else, Apple Bloom decided to wait until nightfall to confront her brother and sister. It was just after midnight when she heard Big Mac enter Applejack's room once more. Oh, God, my throat. Not wanting to wait too long and wound up catching them in more awkward scenario than what was about to occur, Apple Bloom quickly grabbed a small plastic bag by her head and dashed out to Applejack's bedroom door. AJ, Big Mac, I need to talk to y'all, she announced before taking a deep breath and opening the door. Oh, it better not be what I think it is. Apple Bloom heard a panic flurry of activity inside the room, and just as soon as the room came into view, she saw two ponies inside, quickly covering something with a large blanket. Dildo. Oh crud, don't tell me they're into that kind of kinky stuff. Apple Bloom thought in alarm. Apple Bloom, what are y'all doing up so late? Applejack asked, attempting to act normal. Yet the look of guilt at being caught was clear on both hers and Big Mac's face. I need to talk to y'all, Apple Bloom repeated herself. Look, I know we're all family and family's supposed to love each other, but of course we'll love you, Apple Bloom. Look, if this is about something you think y'all will get in trouble for, you'll know me and Big Mac and Granny Smith will still love you, and AJ started saying. No, that's what I mean, Applejack interrupted. I mean, I know about you and Big Mac, and I have kinda heard you both every night he comes over. Applejack and Big Mac's face turned red. Look, Apple Bloom, Big Mac started. Apple Bloom held up a hoof. No, it's alright, really, but I ain't so sure to think of it just yet, but I can't let y'all risk having an unplanned fall. Before Applejack or Big Macintosh could respond, Apple Bloom reached into her bag and revealed the items inside. Wait, what? How old is she anyway? I know you all ran out, so I picked up some protection for y'all. I think these condoms should... Oh, fuck me. Oh, God's sake, man. Why? Get me a therapist. I think these condoms should fit Big Mac. And just in case I got some more... No, I got some more Narrated pills too. How in the hell can Apple Bloom get condoms? She's like... I don't know, about maybe 12? 13 at most? Maybe not even that. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Apple Bloom? Big Mac tried saying. I won't tell any pony. Promise, she said. If you need me to pick up any more, just let me know and I can. Applejack wasn't sure if she should laugh, cry, or be mad. But before Apple Bloom could turn and leave, she placed a hand on her shoulder. Yes, this is an Anthro thing. Anthro isn't my thing, but whatever. Look, Sugar Cube, I don't know what you're thinking, but me and Big Mac are doing, but we ain't having relations like that. Big Mac quickly nodded in agreement, happily tossing the box of condoms aside. He looked at AJ and received a nod of approval, so he reached over to the shrouded item and pulled the blanket off of it. Wincing at first, Apple Bloom saw an antique. Is it cedar or cheddar? I don't know, whatever. Cedar chest underneath. It was definitely old, but about 50% of the exterior was covered in wood varnish to make it appear almost new. What the... What's this? She asked. Applejack gently touched the lid of the chest. Annie Applesauce sent it over. Said it's been in the family for at least 8 generations. She found it completely taken apart though, so me and Big Mac here have been putting it together for the last few nights to surprise you. Big Mac nodded in concurrence, but Apple Bloom still had some questions. But what about all that banging and thumping I heard? This here chest was made with no nails, just wooden dowels and notches, so That was a banging noise you heard. Some of the larger pieces were right stubborn and had to be secured in place with a mallet. Okay, but last night I heard you say Big Mac, you know, got inside and you had no more protection. All three siblings turned red in the face, and after a momentary pause, AJ spoke up again. Well, Big Mac was starting to coat the inside with varnish, but he knocked the can over and it got all inside. Sigh of relief, children. Sigh of relief. She said, pointing inside the antique chest. Can't have any in there since it may damage any cloth you put in there, so I had to scrub it out before it dried. Had a tap to keep any spills out before, but Fluttershy borrowed it a few days back before I chicken coop's roof. Apple Bloom let out an audible sigh of relief. Yeah, I think we've all just done that. Oh, thanks, Alessia, she said happily before she flew facing her family members once more. Sorry I jumped to conclusions, but I was afraid that Applejack offered her sister a pat on the head. We know you had the right intentions and all, but don't you worry none. I promise me and Big Mac ain't here to start dating or anything like that anytime soon. Nope. Big Mac finally spoke up, shaking his head. With a huge wave of relief finally washing over her, Apple Bloom hugged AJ and Big Mac before heading back to their room. With all worries now put to rest, she closed her eyes and finally found sleep quickly, her slumber finally going uninterrupted. And it turns out the chest was a family heirloom, and they had rebuilt it in secret as a surprise. A few weeks had passed since Apple Bloom discovered the true reason behind the noises next door, and was comfortable sharing with her two best friends the somewhat embarrassing assumption she had made. Scootaloo couldn't help but giggle at the conclusion of the story, turning Apple Bloom slightly red. Don't worry. I think I'd think the same thing as well, and I gotta admit, that was kinda hot. Oh, god damn it, Scoots. Scootaloo said somewhat absent-mindedly. What the hell jabbed him in the ass? Giving the Pegasus a momentary off look. Oh, my ass. Apple Bloom turned to Sweetie Belle, who had remained surprisingly quiet throughout the story. Is something wrong? Sweetie Belle remained silent for a few moments before speaking up. So, what would you have done if they were doing that? She asked surprisingly timidly. Well, they are family and all, Apple Bloom said after some thought. I guess I'd probably be okay with it since they love each other. Why? Sweetie Belle looked down at the floor and sighed heavily. Well, whenever my parents come to visit and Rarity's in town, I hear my dad go into Rarity's room late at night. Ah! Okay, that's it. Reading over. Oh. Brain vomit, mouth vomit, everything vomit. Oh. Well then, if you don't mind, I'm going to go invent a new challenge. It's called the Bleach Shot Challenge. How many does it take to get that filth out of my system? There's not enough in the world. Oh god. Okay, I'm going to go find a crawl space, crawl into a fetal position, and cry uncontrollably, and dwell on the fact that I've just ruined my own brain. Till next time.